For 3 long years, my father and I were strangers living under the same roof. It all started with one argument, a single fight that shattered our relationship into a million pieces. We'd pass each other in the hallway, our eyes meeting for a fleeting second, before darting away. We ate at the same table, but the silence was so heavy you could cut it with a knife. He was a ghost in my life, and I was a ghost in his. It was a cold, quiet war, and neither of us knew how to surrender. One morning something changed. I walked into the kitchen and found a plate on the table. Scrambled eggs, a bowl of rice, and a steaming mug of coffee. Just like he used to make for me when I was a kid, back when things were simple, back when we were still father and son. A wave of nostalgia hit me, but I pushed it down. Pride is a stubborn thing. I walked right past it, grabbed a granola bar, and left for class without a word. I told myself it meant nothing. The next day, it was there again. The same meal, waiting for me, and the day after that. Every single morning, a silent offering sat on the table. Part of me, the angry, resentful part, wanted to ignore it forever. But another part, a smaller, quieter voice, felt a dull ache in my chest.
It felt like a memory trying to break through a thick wall of ice.
I kept up my facade, pretending I didn't care, pretending I didn't notice the effort. But I did. Every single day. I just didn't know what to do with it. The silence at home became even more deafening. It was no longer an angry silence, it was expectant. It felt like he was waiting for me to say something, to acknowledge his gesture. And I was waiting too, though I wasn't sure for what. Maybe for an apology? For him to admit he was wrong? The breakfast was a nice gesture, sure, but it wasn't the words I needed to hear. I'm sorry. Just 2 simple words. Was that too much to ask? The standoff continued. Weeks turned into a month, and the breakfast ritual never stopped. One rainy Saturday afternoon, I was rummaging through the house looking for some packing tape. I couldn't find any in the kitchen drawers, so I went into the den, the one room in the house that was unequivocally my dad's territory. I felt like an intruder as I quietly opened the drawers of his old wooden desk. Under a stack of bills and old receipts, I found it, a simple, spiral-bound notebook. It wasn't the tape I was looking for, but something about it made me pause. Written on the cover, in my dad's familiar, slightly messy handwriting, were 5 words. Things I wish I could say. My heart started beating a little faster. I hesitated. This felt private, like reading someone's diary. But my curiosity, mixed with a desperate need for answers, won. I took a deep breath and opened the notebook. The first page was dated just a few days after our big fight. My hands started to tremble as I read his words, words he never had the courage to speak. I'm sorry for raising my voice. You're a man now, and I still treat you like a boy. That's my fault. I flipped the page. I wish I knew how to talk to you. It feels like we speak different languages. I don't understand your world, and I'm sorry I didn't try harder. Page after page was filled with his silent apologies. Each entry was a small window into his guilt and his pain. I saw you leave this morning without touching the breakfast. It hurt, but I'll try again tomorrow. I won't give up. Another entry read, I heard you laughing on the phone with your friend. It was good to hear you laugh again, even if it wasn't with me. He wrote about his struggles, his fear of losing me, his own shortcomings as a father. I'm trying to be better. I just don't know how. I don't know how to reach you anymore. The silence is killing me. Every word was a blow to the chest, chipping away at the wall of anger I'd built around my heart. He wasn't the unfeeling, stubborn man I had painted him to be. He was just a father who was lost, a father who was hurting just as much as I was. I kept turning the pages, my vision blurring with tears. I finally reached the last entry. It was dated just the day before, yesterday. His handwriting was a little shakier than usual. He's been home for a month. The food is my only way of saying I love you. It's not enough. I know it's not. I've been a coward. Tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll sit him down and I'll tell him everything. I'll tell him I'm sorry. I'll tell him I love him. Tomorrow. He wrote that yesterday. But his tomorrow never came. Later that afternoon, the phone rang. It was from his office. My dad had collapsed. A massive heart attack. The paramedics said he was gone before they even arrived. The world went silent all over again, but this time it was a hollow, empty silence that swallowed everything. At the funeral, I stood there in a black suit that felt too tight, a fog of disbelief surrounding me. Family and friends offered their condolences, their words a meaningless buzz in my ears. The only thing I could feel was the weight of the notebook I clutched against my chest. His last words echoed in my mind. Tomorrow. I'll tell him tomorrow. He had a plan. He was going to break the silence. He was going to fix everything, and I never gave him the chance. I was so busy waiting for his apology, I never realized he had been apologizing to me every single day. The breakfasts weren't just food. They were his letters, his peace offerings, his I love yous. He just didn't know how to say it out loud. Standing there, I finally let myself cry. Not just for my father, but for the years we lost. For the words we left unsaid, for the forgiveness that came too late. I cried harder than I ever had in my life, holding on to his silent apology, the only thing I had left of him. Please, if there's someone in your life you need to talk to, don't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow isn't promised. Break the silence. Make the call. Say the words. Because sometimes tomorrow never comes. Thanks for listening.